Most of us today receive a lot of help and training from school all the way through university on how to study other people's ideas, how to criticize other people's ideas. And we become very good at that. But we don't get a lot of help learning how to concentrate and develop our own ideas. We don't get a lot of advice on how to collaborate with others. And we receive hardly any training on how to communicate our ideas. My background is in three main areas. First, it's in philosophy and classical rhetoric. That's what I studied in university, and I still have a big interest in philosophy today. The second area I've worked in is in theatre. I was a professional theatre director and acting teacher. And the third area is in writing. I've worked and still work as a professional writer. Now I sometimes write speeches, and in the past I've worked as a technical writer. I work with people from a diverse range of sectors, from NGOs to big telecommunications companies. The one thing I suppose they all have in common is they're all very passionate about their work, and they're all very eager to learn and to keep improving. I work with people in different formats. So I coach people, that's one-to-one. I give workshops, that's to smaller groups. I give keynotes, which are to big groups of hundreds of people. And then I work at a consulting level for organizations. So I consult on the design of trainings, on the design of media events.
Listen, I think Brian is one of these rare people that he's got the mind of a scientist, the soul of a dreamer, and the training of philosopher, one of these great Greek philosophers. What makes it great to work with him is this multidisciplinary. It's endless. You start from one place and you end up in a completely different one.
I think my mother asks me every time I speak to her, what do I do? And she still doesn't understand or get it. Yeah, it can be a little difficult to explain sometimes, but basically what I do is I help people get their best work into the world. And I help them do this by working on how they form and perform their ideas. What does that mean, form and perform? Forming their ideas means giving structure. I can't help you with the content of your ideas, you're the expert. But we don't receive training in how to structure our ideas. We don't receive training either in how to find time to concentrate on our ideas. Some people find it difficult and they procrastinate or they lack confidence. I work with very interesting people in very interesting areas. I help people prepare things related to innovation, technology. I help people prepare their work related to governments and international health policy. And I help startup companies with their pitches. My work falls into three main areas, I suppose. The first area is leadership, the second area is communication, and the third area is productivity.
Of course, he brings academic knowledge, he brings real content, he brings real experience. He's also been an entertainer, an art director. He brings all of these holistic skills that can always help in any way around communication to the table. And that's something that's very, very special.
We're a special organization in which talking to people and bringing the most out of people in a very plain, very straightforward engagement is very critical. He clicked instantly on that. It's a 10-people management team, so a group of people quite wide, different skills, different personalities. He was able of making the most out of those different personalities. So in that sense, I would say empathy and capacity to adapt very quickly to the needs of the organization and the strengths and weaknesses of the trainee.
Anybody can learn to be more creative, can learn to be a better communicator. I've worked with the stereotypical researcher, accountant, engineer who they think that they could never communicate well or they could never be creative. And you can always get better. Maybe you don't get to the level of Steve Jobs or Barack Obama, but everybody can improve. And the way to improve is to focus on the really practical things. It's not about thinking I need to be more expressive or I need to have more inspiration. That's not concrete advice. I cannot sit at my desk and think I need to be more inspired. Instead, it needs to be really practical. Like, I'm going to sit at my desk for 20 minutes and turn off all distractions and focus on one idea with pencil and paper or post-its. When it's communicating, you focus on where do I put my feet? How do I use my hands? How do I make eye contact with the audience? How do I start my talk? Speaking about them instead of speaking about myself.
His materials and methodologies are very entertaining, very unique, but also immediately tangible and relevant and useful.
He's able of exposing to some of our limitations. He is able to expose ourselves to the negative impacts of those limitations. If my presentations are not inspiring, if they don't have any mobilizing capacity, if they're boring, he's able of exposing all that. Not doing it in an intimidating manner, quite the opposite. He does that at the same time that shows you that there's a way forward, that you can make it better, that you can make it powerful in a very quickly.
I like to help people. I like to help people with their work. I like to help people do their best work. When I was a theatre director, I directed plays and I helped the actors put on the best play. I was invisible. The audience saw the actors, wanted to speak to the actors, recognized the actors, and nobody recognizes a director. It was okay not to be recognized, not to be seen. What was important for me was that it was good work and we were able to achieve a vision, all of us together. It's the same with my work now. Now I work with people to help them be more creative, more productive. I help teams, I help organizations, I help individuals.
He seems to understand all our different participants who all have different roles and come from different parts of the world. So somehow he understands them. Brian makes everybody believe that everybody's the same. We're all in this together and we're just trying to get better. And somehow he manages to play that role perfectly.
People consider them fun, inspiring, energetic, positive. Brian's classes are simply stimulating. Speaking in public is something that most people don't like doing, but they also don't like learning about it. It implies, breaking some of your own barriers and get out of your comfort zone in an absolutely nice manner, fun manner. And he certainly provided the team with very specific, very concrete tools.
We forget how to learn while having fun after we are kids. And Brian certainly brings that spirit back. He creates a space where it's non-pretentious, no labels, and he goes to the essence. I guess he brings the rigor of the Anglo-Saxon world with the fun experience of the Mediterranean.
The other reason I like what I do, a more selfish reason, is because I get to work with people, very, very interesting people, who work on amazing things, who work trying to persuade governments to treat refugees better, who work inventing the technologies of the future, who work running some of the biggest businesses and organizations in the world today. And I get to learn from them. And I have to learn quickly as well. So I immerse myself in their world in order to help them communicate their world. And that's very gratifying for me. When I was a young teacher, I think I was very focused on being the expert. That's changed completely for me now. I don't see myself as an expert. I don't run my classes like I'm the expert and they don't know anything. Now as a teacher, the key thing for me is the design of the class. How to design learning activities that are enjoyable and that work, where the students discover and learn for themselves. And maybe they learn things that are surprising for me that I didn't even know.
What makes Brian a good teacher is the fact that you don't realize that you're learning. It just happens so naturally, it just happens. He's there, he's helping you all the way. You come in thinking something, and then at the end of the session, you realize that you've grown a lot. It's a bit of magic.
He's very engaging. He's also very endearing. People like him.
I think what makes Brian different is the fact that he makes you have empathy with your potential audience, be it in the corporate world, be it at a Wired event, or be it online. And I think it's that empathy that makes you have the emotional connection that makes your story become very powerful and very impactful. Brian has helped me take my best work to the world.